Imagine what your life would be like if you didn't have to sleep. All the work you could get done, all the books you could read, Netflix you could watch, games you could play. It's not that people don't enjoy sleeping, quite the opposite. Most of us love to sleep, but there is a kind of conflict. Sleep is beloved when experienced, and doubly so when it's kept from us by our jobs, families, or other responsibilities. But also, often, sleep is a nuisance when one's body clock dings at an inconvenient time or with such frequency. And this is especially the case in a world replete with colorful diversion. Sleep is most enjoyed when it's a luxury, not a duty. And it can be both. But over and above either, sleep is also a necessity, albeit a mysterious one. It's clear that humans need sleep, but it's not exactly clear why. One hypothesis is that it provides time for the cells comprising our nervous system to reorder, impacting, among other things, metabolic function. Or maybe it's a way for organisms to conserve energy during those times when they cannot exploit their environment, otherwise known as night. Well, for most of us. Sleep also helps us create and consolidate memories. It's a key factor in learning. Lockley and Foster write that it's akin to going offline while the filing is done. We might wonder what it means then that while we need more than 7 hours of sleep a day to function optimally, on average, nearly a third of adults and about half the shift worker population gets something closer to 6 hours of sleep. And we might wonder what it means that such pervasive sleeplessness was not the case 100 or even 60 years ago. To be clear, it's tough to say with confidence that, on average, we all sleep fewer hours than our forebears. Such a conclusion is controversial in the realm of sleep studies, but according to studies done in the US and the UK at least, it is nonetheless true that the percentage of the population which sleeps less has increased, and the percentage of people who say yes when asked if they're tired has also increased, 20% in the last 30 years alone. The worst afflicted groups in the US are production workers, printing, plant and systems operators, food processing plant workers, and assembly line fabricators, among others, reflecting perhaps a long-standing impact the Industrial Revolution has had on sleep. A. Roger Ekirch, professor of history at Virginia Tech, has popularized the notion that before the Industrial Revolution, people would sleep twice. Their first sleep, a short one, would begin not long after dark and go until midnight or 2 a.m., at which point they'd wake up, go to the bathroom, socialize, pray, before dozing off again until morning. With industrialization, though, and eventually the rise of Fordism in the early 20th century, efficiency became a societal imperative, and the practice of 2 sleeps was seen as inefficient. It became stigmatized. Much better, it was thought, to get all of your sleep, rise early, and get to work. Health benefits were touted. It was thought that one's well-being would be negatively impacted by split sleep, as were the moral benefits of being an early riser ready to seize the day, meaning get to work. Perhaps this genealogy lends some sense to the fact that the industrialized sectors remain those most afflicted by sleeplessness. They are the seedbed from which grew and arguably continues to grow the now towering, tangled and intertwined post-industrial paradigital global economy. But there are limits to that growth, one of them imposed by the mysterious but essential human need for sleep. Jonathan Crary, in his book 24/7, remarks that it is the very human necessity for sleep which provides perhaps the last and single greatest challenge to that towering, tangled global economy. Many industries do, in fact, force their workers to choose between a livelihood and being well rested. Most renowned is the truck driving industry, but the trade-off is widespread. Crary also makes the case that beyond what industrial sectors persist in our post-industrial world, global networked interconnectedness has extended the quote-unquote workday past its previously understood limit. The monotonous stimulation, he calls it, of the digital has created another nearly totalizing class of sleep-deprived production workers, not laboring on mass goods, but on content. Imagine what the world would be like if no one had to sleep. All the work that could get done, all the books that could be read, Netflix that could be watched, games that could be played, news read, posts liked, YouTube videos commented upon, views counted, ads seen, data generated. Crary points out that, in a way, 24/7 global economy doesn't really need totally pervasive wakefulness in order to profit. While we sleep, our inboxes, subscription boxes, and wish lists grow, colonizing our waking time before we've even stirred. The posts you've posted and videos you've uploaded while awake persist in your dreaming hours for others just rising. Even your Fitbit is a way for you to generate data while dozing. The invention of the electric light allowed industrial workers to labor past day, and the blue glow of a screen, thought to handily disrupt one's circadian rhythm, the cyclical biological process which guides one into and out of sleep, allows the public to consume through the night. From Industrial Revolution to digital, Crary says the most important techniques to drive both haven't been the manufacturing techniques or the global communication protocols, but the, quote, various systems for the management of human beings. And you could take many views of this. One being, an oppressive system designed and maintained by the powerful subjects many or most people to a way of life which they deem not only acceptable but simply natural. How things are, or have to be, when in fact it is simply the result of far from inevitable and entirely man-made systems. This situation is the very definition of hegemony. There are other views, some not so bleak and not all mutually exclusive, but the upshot of most remains that how one sleeps, or doesn't, is a reflection of how they live, or are expected to live, or feel they must live. So often, the call to be rational, to see things for what they truly are, is to wake up. But it may in fact be the opposite. Are you getting enough sleep?